U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance says Iran is not a forever war, even as President Trump says he's not desperate for a deal with Tehran.
Well, they're begging to make a deal, because they're begging to make a deal. I hope we don't have to do the one, but we may have to give them another big hit. We may have to give them another big hit. I'm not sure yet.
Also tonight, some relief for motorists as the government scraps a planned rise in fuel duty for now because of the Iran war, as the Chancellor gets heckled on a forecourt.
The red to leave, they have a smile on their face. You're ruining the country. Get this down the road.
Ben-Gvir, as video shows him taunting detained international activists from a Gaza aid flotilla.
U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance says a lot of progress has been made in negotiations with Iran and that Tehran wants to make a deal. In a White House press briefing, he laid out his administration's view on Iran, saying that he had just spoken to President Trump. He said that a nuclear-armed Iran could set off an arms race where nations scramble to get their own atomic weapons. Iran insists that its nuclear ambitions are only for civilian use. Vice President Vance also described Iran as a proud civilization with amazing people, but said that the fractured nature of the Iranian government at this point makes its stance in negotiations unclear. He tried to assure Americans as well that Iran is not a, quote, forever war. He gave this response when asked why the war with Iran has gone on much longer than President Trump and his administration predicted.
The president said it's going to be a short-term operation, and I think that has proven out to be true. The active period of conflict lasted about 5.5 weeks, and now we've been in this ceasefire where we're trying to get a negotiated settlement that gets the American people the things that we need for our national security. So I've said before that we're going to go one of two options here. We're going to have a good settlement that actually gets the American people what they need, or we're going to go back to a kinetic operation. Obviously, the president prefers to get that settlement. I think the Iranians prefer to get that settlement. But regardless of what direction the president ultimately goes down, whatever he ultimately decides, I think it's important for the American people to know two things. Number one, it will be for their security and their prosperity. That's why we're doing this. And number two, this is not going to be the sort of thing that lasts forever. I think a lot of Americans, especially in my generation, who are worried about forever, endless conflicts, we have to remember, I think you said 11 weeks, a big chunk of that has been a ceasefire. This is not a forever war. We're going to take care of business and come home. That's what the president's promised, and that's exactly what he's going to deliver.
Well, meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that the U.S. has seized another Iran-linked oil tanker in the Indian Ocean. The tanker is subject to U.S. sanctions for transporting Iranian crude oil. And President Trump has again met with his top security officials at the White House to discuss Iran. Well, elsewhere in the Middle East, at least 10 people have been killed by Israeli strikes in southern Lebanon. That's according to the Lebanese Health Ministry. It says 3 children are among the dead. Israel says its attacks are targeting operatives and infrastructure of the Lebanese armed group Hezbollah. Clashes between Israel and Hezbollah continue despite a ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel that came into effect in April. Lebanese officials say Israeli attacks across the country have killed 3,000 people since the 2nd of March, when Hezbollah fired into Israel over its killing of the then Iranian supreme leader.
The far-right security minister of Israel, Itamar Ben-Gvir, has been condemned by his own foreign ministry over a video in which he can be seen taunting and humiliating a group of international activists who were part of a Free Palestine flotilla. The Israeli military boarded several boats off the coast of Cyprus on Monday as the convoy tried to reach Gaza. You see in this video Ben-Gvir personally intervening as one of the handcuffed activists is forced to the ground. She yells, "Free, free Palestine." "Shut up," he shouts back as she is pushed to the ground. Dozens of activists kneeling here on the ground on the boat, hands tied, while the smiling Ben-Gvir wanders around them, taunting those detained. The video was posted by Mr. Ben-Gvir himself, parts of which we've blurred to protect the identity of those detained. The video was posted alongside the text, "Welcome to Israel." But the backlash in Israel has been severe. The Prime Minister said Israel had every right to prevent provocative flotillas, but the way in which Ben-Gvir has dealt with these activists is not in line with Israel's values and norms. On X, the Foreign Minister, Gideon Saar, went further. "You knowingly caused harm to our state in this disgraceful display," he wrote, and not for the first time. The Italian, French, Dutch, Canadian and Irish governments have all complained, with both Paris and Rome summoning their respective Israeli ambassadors. The right-wing Giorgia Meloni said it required an immediate apology.